Internet, my name's Sammy Fightmaster and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, last Friday, Netflix dropped one of its newest series called Teenage Bounty Hunters, and honestly, I loved it. I've got to say, Netflix is kind of killing it with the shows right now, and this one was just as equally amazing as a lot of the previous ones. Obviously, the title of the show, Teenage Bounty Hunters, kind of grabs your attention and it makes you want to know a little bit more about what is happening in that show. I watched the trailer for it a couple weeks ago when Netflix first announced it, and I was like, come on now, I've got to watch the show. And that's exactly what I did. So Teenage Bounty Hunters is about 16-year-old fraternal twins, Blair and Sterling, who are struggling to deal with the demands of their very religious high school, some family struggles, and also, not to mention, their part-time gig of being bounty hunters. Yeah, so that's kind of a different after-school job for two teenagers to have. Now, they kind of stumbled on to being bounty hunters, so one fateful night they have a not-so-pleasant run-in with a skip, which is the term that they use to describe somebody that has skipped bail, and they meet a professional bounty hunter named Bowser. Now, he's not the nicest of guys right off the bat. He's kind of confused why two teenage girls are trying to take down his skip, which they kind of accidentally do. And after they kind of show off their very unique skills for being two 16-year-old very religious girls, they kind of prove their usefulness to him, and he decides that he's going to take them under his wing and teach them how to become bounty hunters. So after that, the show continues to follow how both girls are kind of adjusting to this new gig. They're learning a lot about life from this gig. They've led a pretty sheltered life in their very posh, very religious community in Atlanta, and they are seeing a whole new side to the world through this job. Now, on top of struggling with that, they also have to deal with just normal, everyday struggles and growth that are gonna happen throughout high school. Now, I've got to say, this show is very odd. Like, the concept of the show is different. Like, it's not your average teenage show. In ways it is, but with the bounty hunter aspect, it's not. And I absolutely loved it. Like, I was hooked on this show within at least the first 10 minutes, probably more accurately the first 5 minutes. It's a very fun concept. It's different, like I've already said. It mixes being very sheltered Christian teenage girls with some not so Christian aspects of the world. And that concept was really fun for me. Because I grew up pretty sheltered, very Christian, and just the way that they handled their school and how they interact with their peers at school, which this school is a very elite, very rich private school, very religious, but just the way that people talk and people act, it's just funny because I know people like this. And that was really fun to see and adds another fun layer to the characters that we get to see how that upbringing plays into how they handle other aspects of life. Everybody on this show had great comedic timing, like A+ comedic timing. It was such a funny show. I laughed out loud like so hard so many times throughout each episode, like every episode. I don't think I didn't laugh during any episode. I smiled my way through too. It was just a good show. I loved it. And there was also some amazing chemistry between all of the characters. Like, obviously this show is mainly centered and grounded in two characters that are very close twins. They're fraternal twins, but they've grown up together. They've got that whole like twin sense thing that goes on. And the chemistry between the actors that play Blair and Sterling is amazing. Like, I don't think Netflix could have picked better people to play these characters. Which honestly, I've never seen the actresses in anything else, but they were made for these roles. Now, obviously, the twins are very close. That is made incredibly clear within the first 5 minutes of this show. They share everything with each other. maybe overshare some details I would not share about my life with my siblings probably, but they also like very different things. They're very different people. That becomes very clear throughout the first episode. They like different music, they express their school uniform in different ways, and they just act differently as a whole. Sterling's kind of the, good girl, straight and narrow kind of person, while Blair likes to push the envelope a lot, and she will definitely push the boundaries with her parents. But they've got each other's back, and that is very clear throughout the show. Now, the format for each episode, once they become bounty hunters, which is early on in the first episode, each episode kind of focuses on like a perp of the week format. Like they meet with Bowser, talk about who they're going to be catching this week, and you spend the episode trying to get this person that they're after. But after a while throughout the season, like around episode 6 or 7, the bounty hunting idea that this show is kind of rooted in starts to take a backseat to other things that they've introduced throughout the season. It starts to really take a backseat to the girls' lives. Like, things are getting more complicated in their lives. Their focuses have shifted a lot since the first episode. So that starts to become like the main focus of the show and less on the bounty hunting, which is the reason that the show began. So that was kind of interesting. And when that started to happen, things started to feel a little disjointed, because throughout the first like 5 or 6 episodes of the season, where it is mainly focused on the bounty hunting, it feels very rooted in that, and it feels like everything will connect to that. But towards the end of the season, things shift focus to other things and issues going on with the girls, and the issues that arise just seem very disjointed from the concept of the show and from what we've spent most of the season dealing with. I liked the things that they brought up towards the end. It just didn't feel like it fit within this season of the show. It just felt like we had moved on from why the show began. And I get it, shows develop, and I like the developments that it took. That's really like my only criticism for the show, because I truly loved the show. The acting was phenomenal in this show. So the show stars Maddie Phillips, Angelica Bette Fellini, and Kadeem Harrison, which, like I said earlier in the video, I haven't seen the two main actresses, which are Maddie and Angelica. Maddie plays Sterling and Angelica plays Blair, and I haven't seen them in any other roles. However, I have seen Kadeem Harrison because he played the father, I can't remember his actual name, in Casey Undercover, which was a Disney Channel show. Now, that was a little after my time, but I did babysit my way through college, and Casey Undercover was like a fan favorite of every household that I babysat for. Now, the ending of this show took a completely different turn than I thought would be possible. Like, I didn't see the ending coming for a second. Like, the last half of the last episode felt a little weird. It felt very misplaced, and like it should have been its own episode, because you spend like half the episode dealing with one thing and then the other half of it dealing with something that is just wild and didn't feel like it went with this episode, but whatever. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you because it is a very much like, oh my goodness moment. I am going to be doing a spoiler video after this one that I'll have up on my channel either later tonight or tomorrow, but keep an eye out for that if you have seen the show. Now, I almost forgot about my rating because I've been talking about how much I love this show. I'm going to give this show 4.5 stars because I did absolutely love it. It had great acting, great comedic timing from everybody. The concept was really fun and really cool. However, the only thing keeping me from giving it 5 stars is that throughout the season, towards the end, it did start to get a little disjointed, and it did start to take a different route that I didn't think necessarily fit with the show. Again, said it earlier, I did like the developments. It just didn't feel like it went well with the concept of the show. Still will happily take them, and I will talk about why I will take them in my spoiler video. I highly suggest that you go watch Teenage Bounty Hunters on Netflix. It is a phenomenal show. I realize a lot of things that I have done reviews for lately have been very like supernatural type shows. This is not one of those, which I kind of liked. It was kind of refreshing, but it was so good. If you have seen Teenage Bounty Hunters, let me know what your thoughts are down below. And I'll say it one more time. Keep an eye out for my spoiler video if you have seen the show. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new around here, welcome to my channel. And I would really love and appreciate it if you would subscribe at the end of this video. And then, after you subscribe, hit the bell off to the side to be notified when I post new videos. Well, that is all that I've got for you today. So I guess I'll see you next time. Bye!